Hello, buddy. All right, so today is Tuesday, May the 13th, 2023. So, welcome to the Mikestand, everybody. Um, I'm just taking care of a couple of things here, real quick. Um, all right, so of course, we're going to give it a few minutes, give people a chance to show up here. Um, let's see now. Well, we did have somebody drop in first off, so let me clear that out. Have a good one, Mike. Well, thank you, Rex. I don't know if you're still here, but thank you for that. I do appreciate that. Also, as a reminder, if you guys haven't already, if you guys can like and share the stream, see if we can get some more friendly people in here to engage. That'd be appreciated. Also, if anything here grabs your attention, feel free to comment and or ask questions. I'll try to answer the questions to the best of my abilities. So, with all that being said, we'll just kind of just hang out for a quick sec, let people pop in. So, Hong Kong Fooey, number one super guy. Hong Kong Fooey, quicker than the human eye. Chicky chong, chicka wong wong. Hong Kong Fooey, that's terrific. And we have some people here, so I might as well just get started then. So, on tonight's episode of the Mic Stand, we're going to go over a couple articles from Bleeding Fool. One talking about a disappointing tribute to cartoonist Trina Robbins. We covered her before. I'll get into that a little bit. Also, Batman Cape Crusader has they've announced an Amazon Prime release date for that. So we'll be looking at that. About talking a little bit about some Toonami news coming up. Also, of course, later on we'll have the wrestling wrap up and the this day in each history segment. So with all that being said, why don't we just go ahead and get started then? So let me pull up the first article here. Miss Trina Robbins. All right, disappointing tribute to late cartoonist Trina Robbins gets hyper political. Article by Avi Green, published May 12th, 2024, which of course was a couple days ago, published this past Sunday. So, a writer at Hey Alma talks about the late cartoonist Trina Robbins um, from a most unsurprisingly leftist and feminist perspective. See, so and this now goes into the. This is coming from the article, of course, that they're referencing here. I was stunned to realize that I didn't know anything about Trina Robbins sooner. As a self proclaimed Jewish nerd and feminist, um, how could I have missed this brilliant Jewish nerdy feminist icon? Maybe it was because of casual sexism in comics scholarship that focused primarily on male voices. I don't think so. Maybe it was because Trina's career didn't primarily focus on the big three in mainstream comics, i.e., Wonder Woman, Batman, and Superman, but on a number of independent and indie projects as well. Whatever it was, I was truly grateful to discover her when I did. Now, going back to Avi here, of course. So that's all comicdom ever. So that's all comicdom's ever been from then till now. Casual sexism? Because if you look under a microscope, you'll find not much has changed in modern times, where it's suddenly wrong for a woman to look attractive, even if she wants to be. And there's a picture of the late, great Trina Robbins right there, they say. It ain't me, babe. I guess that was the cartoon she was known again. All that's happened is that sexism was turned inside out, making it considerably worse. And going back to the article from Hey Alma here, and as always, guys, if anything here grabs your attention, feel free to comment and or ask questions. I'll try to answer the questions to the best of my ability. And if you haven't already, if you guys can like and share the stream, see if we can get some more friendly people to engage. That also would be appreciated. Help get the word out, as it were. So Trina's eye for style and love for fandom, including science fiction in parentheses here, naturally drew her to the underground comic scene. However, upon interacting with other creators, she quickly discovered that many treated underground comics as a boys-only club. Tired of the casual misogyny that filled many underground comics at the time, Trina decided to form her own project, quote, "It Ain't Me, Babe," unquote. The first comic book created by an all-woman team. Trina collaborated with other female creatives such as Barbara, quote unquote, Willie Mendez on "It Ain't Me, Babe," quote unquote. And it was a game changer discussing female sexuality and dreams of liberation around the turn of the feminist movement in a field where it had barely been discussed before. Now, mind you, as I understand it, a lot of Trina's works were coming about during maybe the late 60s and the 70s. So during the height of the feminist movement of the time. So I think there was a lot of bra burning, as it were. Whipping bras around in the air and burning and all that. In pyres. So let's see. Trina continued that line of work through projects such as the comics anthologies, quote, "Women's Comics," unquote. And the way she was spelling it there is much like they did with the old Popeye cartoons, too. Which included her piece, quote, "Sandy Comes Out," unquote, one of the first published comics in the world that discussed lesbianism in a respectful light. Now here's Avi speaking again, of course. All right. Avi speaking again. I'm not sure much has changed in that regard either, seeing how even lesbians are discriminated against these days by the left, and how quite a few possible lesbians are now beginning to eschew it for the sake of quote unquote non-binary. As a result, today's discussions of sexuality may be far removed from whatever Robbins worked on in her time. In any event, the writer turns to something that's really galling. This is Avi discussing the writer of this article in regards to Trina. Trina used her art for activism, drawing attention to important causes such as abortion rights, through editing and contributing to the Choices, a pro-choice benefit comic anthology for the National Organization of Women, unquote, and quote, Strip AIDS, unquote, a project made to educate about HIV/AIDS while raising funds for those affected by AIDS. And then we come back to Avi here, and it looks like, well, if that's what the writer believes is a great mission, That's why this is hugely disappointing. Much of the world population is collapsing, with communist regimes leading the way, and even countries like Greece suffering badly. And all these progressives can think of advocating is abortion, no matter how an infant was conceived. This is simply distasteful. I think I've heard enough, and while I don't deny Robbins has some significant achievements in her portfolio, supporting abortion at all costs is not one of them. That's not something to celebrate and makes this would-be tribute a major embarrassment. So Avi was very critical on the idea of the authors trying to turn a tribute to a comics artist into a political message. And we know that that's always been the case, though, with him, of course. All right, so now on to the next article here. On to the next article, of course. All right. This one should. I initially thought that article we just read was going to be a little bit longer, but I guess it wasn't. So maybe we will try to see if we can go find some stuff on some other sites. But anyways, well, actually, there was one other thing I could talk about too to kill a little more time at least. For those who still watch Tsunami nowadays. All right, so here we go. Batman Caped Crusader gets Amazon Prime Video premiere date. Article by Christina Wiggins, published May 13, 2024, which of course was yesterday. Today being May 14. There's again, I guess one of the promo pics that's been circulated for that particular series. Let's see. The impending quote unquote spiritual sequel series, Batman the Caped Crusader, is a very exciting development for fans of the critically popular Batman the Animated Series. So there's supposed to be a spiritual sequel to Batman the Animated Series from the DCAU days. All right. Yeah. And at last, we also know when Batman the Caped Crusader will premiere on Prime Video on Thursday, August 1st. This information comes along with the first official visuals of the animated series, which will follow the Dark Knight as he battles for Gotham's soul in the 1940s. So basically taking it back to the Golden Age setting, the 40s. Some people would argue it was actually maybe even in some respects how the original Batman the animated series was supposed to look, even though it eventually evolved to a point to where um, it was brought into modern times, as it were. So, Bruce Timm, co-creator of Batman the Animated Series, disclosed to EW, I guess that's Entertainment Weekly, how Batman Caped Crusader will be different from previous iterations by completely embracing its 40s noir milieu. So actually, this series is going to be more based in the 40s, but the other series, I guess, weren't. So, which is true. Quote, James, in brackets Tucker, and I are both really big fans of movies from that era. So we decided to really lean to that in terms of the clothes, the cars, the architecture, and the level of technology. Early on, we decided that there would be no computers and cell phones. That changed everything. Unquote. Batman Caped Crusader was originally scheduled to debut on what was HBO Max, but Amazon Prime Video intervened to salvage the film after HBO declined to produce it. With their noirish sensibility and eerie atmosphere, these first look photos, which you can view below, hint at a show that will be eerily similar to Batman the Animated Series, while also paying homage to classic Batman tales and characters. There it is right there. Let's see. Characters like Harley Quinn, who Bruce Timm says will be much more than just the Joker's lover, will shift a bit. Rather, she will continue to make appearances as a psychiatrist and use her training and experience to pull off more villainy. Quote, I co-created the character, so I have a lot of love and affection for her. But I thought there might be something interesting about bringing her on the show, just not as Joker's girlfriend. So how do we do that? A big part was just doing a basic flip. The original Dr. Quinzel was a little bit more serious. And then when she became Harley, she got really goofy and weird. So we thought, what if we reverse that? When she's Dr. Quinzel, she's a little bit more whimsical and fun. And when she's Harley Quinn, she's scary. Unquote. Wow, talk about diabolical mind there, huh? Batman Caped Crusader, which was co-created and co-produced by J.J. Abrams, Bruce Timm, and Matt Reeves, will debut on Prime on Thursday, August 1st. So there we go with that one. All right, so there we go with that one, everybody. Let's see. So also, let's see. We're not even at the 20-minute mark yet. All right, so one other thing I can talk about here before we go looking for some other articles, of course. So for those who, of course, still, I do catch some Toonami. I still watch like Naruto Shippuden on Toonami. Of course, the last weekend and this weekend, well, okay, so back on the 4th, right? Back, not this past Saturday, but the week before. Ninja Kamui had completed its first run on it. So what they decided to do last weekend and this coming weekend is do a marathon of the entire series. The first half of the series was this past weekend. The second half of the series is this weekend. So the second half of Ninja Kamui will be being shown on this Saturday, the 18th. So, Saturday night the 18th, Sunday morning the 19th, basically. Basically, it premieres. It's got a premiere time of 12 midnight Eastern, 9 Pacific on Cartoon Network's Toonami block. So then, of course, in the weeks to come here. In the weeks to come, as it were. So I told you what's going on this weekend, the second half of the Ninja Kamui Marathon. Then, as I had discovered, okay, so next, and then not this Saturday, but next Saturday, the 25th, the second season of My Adventures with Superman will be premiering on the block for an hour. The first 2 episodes of season 2 on that. And then the rest of the lineup will be as follows. One Piece on at 1. Naruto Shippuden moves from 2 to 1/3. As from a number of these shows will move up a half hour. Naruto Shippuden moves up from 2 to 1:30, and then Dragon Ball Z Kai moves up from 2:30 to 2. The reruns of that, and then the And then on this Saturday, the 2 episodes of Demon Slayer Kimetsu no Yaiba will be airing on May 25th as well for that last hour, from 2:30 to 3:30. Then on June 1st, that's when what will apparently be the latest schedule. Starting Ninja Kamui will of course then be running in reruns in the latter part of the block, all the English dubbed episodes. Starting on June 1st, my adventure the block will be My Adventures with Superman. Will be having the second season of that will be premiering its episodes. Then Zone 100 Bucket List of the Dead will make its return at 12:30 on June 1st. After these 3-week hiatus. Then of course One Piece will be on at 1, Naruto Shippuden on at 1:30, Dragon Ball Z Kai on at 2. Ninja Kamui will be then airing reruns, the English dub reruns at 2. And then at 2:30 will be Demon Slayer Kimetsu no Yaiba. So, to recap, next week, the 20. Okay, so this weekend, the 18th, the second half of the Ninja Kamui season marathon English dub episodes. Next week, the 25th, the premiere of season 2. The premiere of season 2 of My Adventures with Superman. The first 2 episodes of the season will air at midnight / 9 a.m. Pacific. Followed by reruns of One Piece, Ninja Shippuden, Dragon Ball Z Kai, and then a full hour of Demon Slayer Kimetsu no Yaiba. The reruns make their return to the block, and then on June 1st, the lineup will be My Adventures with Superman. Premiere episodes of My Adventures with Superman and Zone 100 Bucket List of the Dead on from 12 to 1, and then from 1 o'clock on, reruns of One Piece, Naruto Shippuden, Dragon Ball Z Kai, Ninja Kamui, Demon Slayer Kimetsu no Yaiba. So that's all that you got to look forward to over the next few weeks with Toonami. So let's see, where are we at now? 21 minutes, or 23 minutes, I guess. So let me go ahead and go see if I can find. Let's see if we can go find. Let's see if any new articles came up. I don't think any really did. So let's see. Let's see if any new. I'll go back to Bleeding Fool. That's where we just were. Let's see what we can find there. See if there's anything new of it. There we can look at and pick apart. Go to the comic book section first. Alright. Not there. Let's look at the movie TV streaming. Let's see that. Alright, nothing really there. Alright, let's see. Let's look at Pounding in the Comic name. Nothing there. Sometimes, guys, as with any news situation, of course, You're gonna have cycles of a lot of news happening, and you're gonna have cycles of very little news happening, and we just happen to be hitting the cycle of where there's very little news happening. So anyways, as we continue to, let me just check out one more site here. If there's any. Hmm. There does seem to be a lot of gaming news going. I guess because I know from the gaming side of it. Not that we cover gaming much here, but I do know a lot of talk surrounding like Stellar Blade among other things, and a lot of uh, Square Enix, another one that's been talked a lot about lately, from what I see here. Alrighty then. So not really much there either. So let's see. Oh, what shall we do then? Alright. So, anyways, actually, there is one more site to check that I haven't checked in a while. Due in part to the fact that it hasn't really had a lot pop up either. A lot of articles pop up either on its site. Go over to it to see if anything. Hmm. I'm just looking to see if we can find anything here. And again, don't think there is much of anything here. Yeah, I guess there's not really, again, not much in the way. Okay, so basically, I think we covered all the news items at least, all the major news items. So now I guess we will move on to the wrestling wrap up, as it were. Move right into that. So of course, as WWE continues to to march its way towards its King and Queen of the Ring event, pay-per-view coming up at the end of the month, as it were. Um, on last night's Raw, um, among the matches that happened on last night's Raw, in some of the Queen of the Ring quarterfinal matches, Io Sky, a former WWE Women's Champion, Io Sky defeated Shayna Baszler. Lyra Valkyrie, who made her recent debut on Raw, out just recently being called up from NXT, she defeated Zoe Stark. Let's see. So those are the two Queen of the Ring quarterfinal, and the two King of the Ring quarterfinal match. Gunther, who recently came off of his loss of the Intercontinental, defeated Kofi Kingston. And Jey Uso defeated Ilya Dragunov, who was making his debut. Ilya Dragunov, of course, being called up recently from NXT as well. Among the other matches on the night, also saw Bronson Reed defeat Akira Tozawa in a situation where they're kind of like they're really pitching the whole idea of Chad Gable turning heel and basically, maybe abusing his men. And then Otis of Alpha Academy also lost, in this case, to Sami Zayn in a non-title, as Sami Zayn being the Intercontinental champion. Intercontinental title champion, but it is for non-title. Becky Lynch in a non-title match took on Dakota Kai of Damage Control and won her match. In a match to determine the number one contender for the WWE World Tag Team titles, which I'm guessing was to see who would face The Miz and R-Truth at maybe at King of the Ring. The Judgment Day duo of Finn Balor and JD McDonough outlasted the Authors of Pain. The Authors of Pain of Akam and Razor, New Catch Republics, Tyler Bate and Pete Dunne, and the Creed brothers, Brutus and Julius Creed. So they won a fatal four-way to become the number one contenders to face R-Truth and The Miz for the WWE WWE World Tag Team titles. So the Raw Tag Team. Let's see, what is it? Oh, the WWE World Tag Team Championships. So let's see. So with that as well, let's see. Any more news that I can think of? Actually, no. I guess there isn't. So, now also in AEW news, Cash Wheeler, the criminal charges that were filed against FTW's Cash Wheeler for apparently brandishing a gun at another motorist in a road rage incident. The charges have apparently been dropped. The Florida city's chosen not to pursue the charges. So that's good news for him. He, of course, had still been working for the company while that was, being handled. So, let's see. Of course, on tonight, now, for those of you who are into NWA Power, tonight on the CW app, could have gone and watched 156th episode of Power. And on that show, of course, they're going to have in a number one contendership match for the NWA national heavyweight championship, Zion with Austin Idol in his corner. We're going to take on Mims. And then two play-in matches to see who would advance to the Crockett Cup tournament coming up next month. Mike Orlando and the Cheese were taking on the Heavenly Butterflies of Fabu Andre and Tony Donati. And in the other play-in match, the Spectaculars of Brady Pierce and Slade were going to be taking on Cam Fox and Kai Price. So Brady Pierce is apparently back in NWA now. So now I'd always thought that Brady Pierce and Rush Freeman were actually the best team as a Spectacular. And I see when you look at Brady Pierce, I do see a lot of Barry Windham in him. Tall, lanky athlete, a guy who's got some good athletic skills, athletic power. So I hope that that they'll push that with him. So so with that, as it were, let's see. So that's all we have for the wrestling wrap up. So let's see. What else can I talk about here? Because we're still running a little short here. What else can I talk about here? So, well, we did talk about recently, of course, MeTV is going to be getting its own cartoon network, as it were, MeTV Toons, that should be premiering on June 25th. And among, of course, among the shows that you can watch there include much of what is currently the Warner Brothers library. Of course, is coming off of the original Warner Brothers library, the Looney Tunes catalog, Bugs Bunny, Daffy Duck, Elmer Fudd, Sylvester and Treaty, and the like. You also have much of the MGM catalog of Tom and Jerry, Barney Bear, Droopy, a lot of the Harmon Ising catalog, the Paramount, the stuff coming from Paramount. Now, of course, they already have, of course, Popeye from Fleischer Famous, Betty Boop. It looks like they're also going to show many of the Harvey Toons cartoons on MeTV Toons. So those included, of course, Casper the Friendly Ghost, Baby Huey, Little Audrey, Hector and Catnip. Some other, they'll have a lot of the Hanna-Barbera cartoons like Yogi Bear, Huckleberry Hound, Snagglepuss. Of course, Scooby-Doo, the Flintstones, the Jetsons, Johnny Quest. They'll also have some other shows that are not part of as much. Of course, one of the shows I saw, of course, was Rocky and Bullwinkle, which was actually done by Jay Ward, I believe. So a lot to look forward to. I'm just hoping that they will have it on DirecTV, and not to where you don't have to go search for it elsewhere, like with MeTV Plus. So let's see. So yeah, so let's see. What else? Of course, I know one of the other things that we've talked about too over the last few days here, and I know he's been making the round. Jay Shannon are making the rounds, promoting their latest project, Next to Scourge. We, of course, read a little bit about that yesterday. I know he was on Rex's show earlier. You guys might want to go check that out. Also, Don't forget that after tonight, after tonight, head over to Rick Piper's channel. Check him out. He'll be doing his chill stream. So you guys might want to go say hi to him and give him some love, of course, as it were. So, there's not really much more I can talk about. So, what I'm going to go ahead and get to this day in each history, unless, of course, you guys have anything you want to ask about or anything like that. If not, I'll go ahead and we'll get to this day in each history and then start to wrap things up. Metal, hello. Hello, Metal. Just popping into while getting back to work. All right. Well, thanks for popping in, my friend. Don't know if you saw anything that we covered tonight. Always appreciate your input. So hopefully, and I tried to go say hi to you last night, but by the time I got over to your channel, you're already done. So, but again, unless you guys have anything you want to ask me about, I think I will get ready to do this day in each history and start to wind things down a bit here. As we are at the 41-minute mark, so it looks like we're going to end a little early tonight. As it goes, sometimes you just hit some slow spots in the news cycle, and that's what we've done here. So anyway, so with all that being said, today being Tuesday, May 14th, why don't we take a look back this day in each history? And I've only got a couple of things tonight, unfortunately. First off, on this date back in 2003, so 21 years ago today, on this date 21 years ago today, the 115th issue of Betty and Veronica Double Digest magazine, Archie Comics, went on sale on this date back in 2003. Sold for $3.59, 192 pages. So on this date back in 2003, the 115th issue of Betty and Veronica Double Digest magazine went on sale on this date back in 2003, so 21 years ago today. With that, let's move on to the other piece in each history that I was able to find tonight. Also on this date, 5 years ago today, back in 2019, making its digital release premiere on this date back in 2019, 5 years ago, making its Warner Brothers Animation's Batman vs. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles was released on digital on this date back in 2019. So 5 years ago today, the Batman vs. Warner Brothers Animation's Batman vs. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles premiered on this date, or not premiered, but was digitally released on this date 5 years ago today. So with that, I thank everybody for being here tonight. Sorry the show ran a little short, but sometimes the news cycle just happens to run a little short sometimes. So you know how that goes. With that, I thank everybody for being here. We'll be back here tomorrow night with more niche news. Don't forget to go check out Rick Piper at the top of the hour. Be doing his chill stream, so go say hi to him. We'll be back here tomorrow night with more niche news, and then of course this Friday I'll have RJ Carter with me, and we'll be looking back at back at comics from February 1940. This week we'll be looking at novelty comics. I believe we'll be looking at Target Comics Volume 1, Issue 3. We'll be looking at such characters as White Streak, Bullseye Bill, the High Grass Twins, the Sap family. So with that, I thank everyone for being here, and I hope to see everybody back here tomorrow.